So here we go again with another series of Blue Girls video podcast of my dreams that I've been documenting. And so the first dream that I have is of February 17, 2011, restaurant in Mountains. I was sitting at a balcony outside patio and a bus driver drove up. Didn't see that, but saw a bus driver and not Greyhound. I didn't get on the bus, but just sat there, stay put. It does look like the Pacific Northwest scenery. Then I went behind these white curtains like behind a booth. Okay, so in this dream, I was sitting at a restaurant in the Pacific Northwest all by myself. There wasn't that many people there, and it was in the middle of nowhere. It was just in these mountains. And so I don't know where this was at. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it was in the Pacific Northwest, but I don't know what restaurant. I don't know what restaurant this was. So, and for some reason, I don't know why, but a bus driver came up and I didn't get on the bus. So you would think that I would, but I didn't for some reason. So that was a little odd. That part of the dream, I never really understood why. I just know I was eating at the restaurant. The next dream is Jewish job in February of 2011. I was staying with a Jewish family, and one girl had a problem with me. I did something to earn money, and they owed money, or owed me zero. So the Jewish father gave me $59 bill. I thanked him, and then walked outside. So I don't know. There was something that I did something to make some money, and this Jewish family, this father, helped me out for whatever reason. And I remember walking like it was like in a campus area. So I don't know. I mean, I wasn't in college or anything, but I just remember in the dream specifically walking on campus. So I don't know. That was that dream. Um, so then the next, I went through my videos and I kind of accidentally missed some. And so the next dream is lecture at Alaska. I was at this park and this one guy, a friend I had a crush on, Leonardo, picked me up in his van. We usually hung out together, but not this time. Then he mentioned something about I almost had to smack him for that. This guy had a box of his own stuffed memorabilia. I picked out a captain's hat and saw Alaska on side. We were at some lecture presentation, and then he showed me on a boat, a small boat going to Alaska for the lecture. He took the hat and put it on his head for a lecture. So, for the longest time, because when I lived in the Pacific Northwest, I wanted to go to Alaska. I have been to Alaska when I was a child, a baby, actually, a toddler, but I don't remember much, but a lot of snow. And so I did for the longest time want to go to Alaska. And so in this dream, I think that this was a guy who worked in Alaska, and it sounds like I had a crush on him. And so he would pick me up in his van or whatever. And it sounds like from that he would give presentations on Alaska. He probably was probably a fisherman or something up there. I'm not sure. But he would give presentations on Alaska since he's been to Alaska and probably worked there. That's what I was thinking. Because I remember him kind of being a kind of a big guy. Not huge, but big, strong. And so he was giving a lecture and he showed like a small boat. I wasn't on the boat. He was on the boat. So that's what I was saying. Maybe he was working on a fish boat. So anyway, yeah, so that is kind of that dream. And the next dream is titled The Fisherman, and it's in March of 2011. I was at my friend's, and the neighbor told him to turn down his music in 10 minutes or else he was going to call the cops. Then I went outside and said to myself, the cops are not coming. Then there was this black guy in a boat who was fishing with really long fishing line with hooks and tackles and equipment. And he swung it back by me and it didn't catch me or hurt me at all in June. Didn't even acknowledge I was even there. He kept swinging his pole back and forth, but nothing. So this was, I think this was, uh, this dream was my friend or whatever. He's a childhood friend, and he always blasts his music really loud, a little, at least too loud, I meant, when I was there even. And so he's known for that. So in the dream, I guess one of his neighbors told him he's going to call the cops on him because he's blasting his music. So I remember in the dream that I went outside. I don't know why I went outside, um, but there was nobody out there. There's no cops there. So I don't know why I did, because he was when he was blasting his music. So anyway, and then it changed in which there was an African American man who was on a boat. Um, when I lived in the Pacific Northwest, there was two people who I don't know if they were assistant managers, but they would help. They were kind of maintenance. They would help the manager there. So it was one of those guys. I think he was an older guy, and it was kind of strange because what he was is he was in a small boat in the stream, and he was fishing. Okay, but it was like his back was towards me, and I could see him in the fishing boat, and he had these really long lines, like, and he kept on swinging it like back and forth, and it was like, I was right behind him, and he didn't even acknowledge that I was there, and it didn't. I didn't get hurt or anything, but I could have. I mean, that's how long the lines were. So to me, I mean, it was kind of symbolic in which she was fishing for information or fishing for something. But I mean, it was like he was oblivious, and luckily I didn't get hurt. As far as, I mean, that was a dream. I don't know why the lines were so long, but that was a dream. Um, and then let's see here. Wooden ship. Okay. Um, I was walking and carrying the bottom part of a huge wooden ship, and I woke up feeling peace. Okay, so this was a continuation of that lecture at Alaska, the guy who was working in Alaska, who I think was working on a fish boat. So I saw him in the dream. He was walking down kind of like a corridor, like when you just get off a boat or a plane, and he was carrying a very large, just the bottom part of a wooden ship, kind of like a model, but a big one. And he was carrying that. And then I remember waking up in the morning and I felt peace. Because I think this guy in real life was going to help me. It didn't come to pass. But I think that he was going to help me somehow. Um, anyway, so the next dream is floating plane. I was in an apartment with my mom in the bedroom sleeping. There was an airplane that may have crashed into the body of water outside the apartment. It was just sitting there floating, no passengers on it. I took a picture of it. Water started coming in through the doors, not much, just a little. So I tried preventing the water to get into place and was protecting my mom. So this dream was interesting because the dream was that I was in my apartment, and years later I did actually end up living in the apartment of the dream, but my mom wasn't there because she's deceased. But and I remember, because the reason why I remember is, like, I remember looking outside. This didn't come to pass, but there was two women sitting in a boat, a small boat, and they almost were like dressed like at a different time. That's kind of what I felt like. But they were just sitting there looking at me, and I was looking at them, and that was it. And they looked like they were dressed like in a different time period. And so then what ended up happening was that I would have these dreams of water coming into my apartment. And so the water kind of seeped through the window. And well, it says a door, but it was like it actually had, I think that it came through the window, because the window of the apartment was facing the body of water. The body of water was like about 2 blocks, literally 2 blocks from me, from my apartment. And so that's kind of the end of the dream, and I was protecting my mom. But it could have been that my mom was protecting me. Since she's passed on, she's trying to protect me somehow. Um, so the next dream is tornado coming my way. A lot of weather stuff here. I was standing up in the middle of the row of a bus. I was saying a Bible verse out loud, one being, "No weapon formed against me will ever prosper." I read this because an unexpected tornado that wasn't even visible and then became visible with dark clouds in the distance. So the bus driver drove off of the side of the road to avoid it. I think there may have been another Bible verse that I spoke earlier, but can't remember what I said. Then I saw a skull like the one that I that had at that airbrushing. There was a mom and a daughter who had an airbrushing business, and then I was something about instructions. Okay, so this was kind of strange because I was standing up in the middle of a bus in the row because a tornado was coming, but I was the only one that knew that it was coming. I was like just standing there, and it wasn't visible, and then it was visible. So then the bus driver drew off the side of the road. And that was weird because I was, just standing there on the on the bus, reading Bible verses. They probably thought I was nuts. Well, I don't even remember. I know it was nighttime, but I don't remember saying anything to anybody or anybody say anything. I just remember standing up doing this in the middle of a bus at night. So anyway, so I was right. There was a tornado coming, and the bus driver drew off to the side of the road to avoid it. Anyway, so skull, of course, when I think of skull, I think of death. And so that's all I saw was a skull coming towards my way. A visit to my friends. My friend was depressed in a small white room with no pictures on the wall. He came down these stairs like in the movie Titanic, almost like the complex was a nature setting away from everything by itself. Large and lonely complexes with brown trim by a wooded area. My friend was thinking I wasn't going to come and visit him. So this was kind of strange because, well, where he was in the dream, it was like he was coming down the stairs like the stairs in the Titanic, but they weren't as long. And it was kind of strange because I remember seeing some stairs like that, similar, like years later in the Southwest. I applied for an apartment, but I decided not to take it because they didn't have a bathroom. And it was kind of, you just had, you had your own room, you had your TV, but I needed a bathroom. And the building was old, and I remember when I saw the stairs like that, I thought of that dream. And so I didn't take it. So anyway, my friend in the dream, he came down the stairs, and he was depressed. He had his apartment, and there was no whatever pictures on the wall. Which, ever since I've known him, he's always had like pictures of the same pictures on his walls, and it's never been bare. So that was kind of strange. So anyway, then there was another part, and I had this dream before in which it was like I had it when I was living in the Southwest, in which it was a complex area, and it was like a mental health place. And I was there. I don't know for how long or why. This was a dream. This never happened. But I was there just kind of temporarily for mental health, and I just remember it was just kind of way out there, kind of all by itself in nature and stuff like that. And I don't remember communicating with anybody except for the therapist and psychiatrist or whoever I had. And so the next dream was a place for the pony. There was this girl and her parent had to decide on what place to take that was being built. Saw a building, there was a carousel round for ponies that was being built. She chose that one. something about number 6. I may have seen they are showing the places. Okay, so this dream I've never understood because there was this little girl who was spoiled. Well, I shouldn't say that. Her parents had money and she had a pony and she wanted to find a place to live where she could have her pony. Um, so that's kind of all I remember the dream. So, and I've never really, this is probably the only dream that I can remember of a pony. So I'm not for sure what that was about. Um, so the next dream is visiting and happy family, May of 2011. A couple and nights, a couple of nights ago, I told my friend to go, and then he was at some guy's house, and I was going to stay there for a month and then go to my aunt's. I am not for sure if I stayed or left. I think I stayed. There was a black man who was given a wife. He didn't choose her, God did, and they had a full-grown daughter. There was money that was divided equally, about 20,000 each, and they were happy. So, yeah, I don't know why. I mean, I was like upset with my friend, and I was like, just go, just go. Um, And then I was gonna go to my aunt's for a month after that. I was gonna stay with him for a couple of weeks and go to my aunt's. And I used to do that when I was younger, in my 20s or whatever, but I don't really do that now. And my aunt has passed away, and I don't really stay at my friend's longer than I have to because I don't really want to impose. I mean, I'm not no spring chicken, so it's not like, it's just different as you get older. People want their privacy. So anyway, so it says I stayed. I don't know why I would stay, but anyway, or if I stayed with him or what. So yes, I remember this dream in which there was a couple and they were African American and they had a daughter, and I think that that it was the daughter was, I don't know, maybe, I don't know, in her 7, 8, 9, something like that, and it was a different father. But in the dream, God chose these two to get married. It was arranged by God, and there was money divided, was split it up. Because of course, once you get money or once you get married, his money or her money is yours, or you split it or whatever, how you do it. And they were both very happy. I remember that about this dream, is they were both very happy. So that was good. I don't remember much about the daughter. I can see her now. She had kind of ponies and black shoes with white stockings and a dress. I can see it now. Sometimes when I read these things, when I go back, I can see more, or I don't see much, or I'll just remember more. Um, and I think that's it because I already have other videos recorded for my other ones in May, started in May. I hope so because I already made a couple of years. So anyway, thank you for watching the series. It's 10 years, so I try to do so much, a couple times a month, like on the weekends. And I do have a WordPress. I'll put all that information in, and the Anchor and Spotify. And so thank you for watching the video. Thank you.